Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Robert Doyle here with another XRP update. I got some fire news straight right off the press, hot stuff. Let's get into the video because I know that's what you're here for. Let's do it. So Wrath Economist drops fire all the time. Follow him. 7 degrees of separation. Ripple user D-Money recently signed with Visa to integrate their ex-border payments in Thailand into Visa Direct. Let's take a look at this, guys. D-Money announced a partnership with Visa to provide international money transfers to customers in Thailand. This is said to facilitate 24/7 global payments even during weekends and holidays. D-Money has announced a new partnership. The service will provide near-instant international money transfers to over 170 countries. All D-Money customers have to do is enter their Visa card details, send Thai baht, and 150 other 9 currencies with payments set to clear the same day, guys. This is the future of money, right? Ripple partner Navati has built a bank. International Bank of Australia has abstained as restricted banking license. So basically what happened here is Navati's partner got a banking license. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. The International Bank of Australia has taken its first step into becoming a household name, having been granted a restricted banking license. This segment has been ignored within Australia's banking sector, yet contributes to more than 100 billion per annum. Securing the RADI, Restricted Authorized Direct Taking Institution license, has been a 3-year process for the International Bank of Australia, with the bank currently 91% owned by fintech company Navati Group. Damn, Navati owns 91% of it. That's crazy. And it goes on to talk a little bit more about this, guys, but that's a huge thing. 3 years to get this license, and that's just going to push Ripple into the entire ecosystem. Okay, this is a great clip. Okay, this is Richard Walker. Richard Walker works for Bain & Company. Bain & Company has been working in blockchain for 10 years. He's the head of the division. He's also a partner there. He's going to drop some great knowledge. This actually clip came from a webinar that was hosted about 6 days ago on tokenizing assets and securities. It was a great webinar. I highly recommend you go and take a look for it. If you just Google Richard Walker, Bain & Company on YouTube, it'll pop up. But let's go ahead and listen to what he says here because it's mind-blowing.
Demanding a technology solution. And there's a long tail to those legacy assets to be digitally twinned. Let's talk about the long tail. I've got 3 numbers for you. 50, 160, 330. And those numbers are in trillions. There's 50 trillion in private equity. That's the private company value. There's 160 trillion in public private debt. And there's 330 trillion in global private real estate. That's 540 trillion. That's 500
Anyways, it goes on, it's fine until it ends, but it's $540 trillion that's going to be added to blockchains, guys. That is going to raise the value of that blockchain. Okay, understand that. Moving value from this fiat system, debt-based system, to a digital back system. Okay, so here's the information. This is from Davos, right? Davos said, FAM Universal Payments Network was introduced this year at the World Economic Forum in Davos. The UDPN network will support only CBDCs with regulated fiat stablecoins. It goes on to talk a little bit more about this, but I want to talk to you about this, right? Because this says the UDPN will only support CBDCs and stablecoins as payment methods and will not support transactions involving any unregulated public chain cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. Okay. First, you got to understand who's behind this, who's working on this, and who are they working with, and who are their partners. So Red Date Technology is their partners, this whole thing, and Red Date Technology is partnered with R3 and Hyperledger and Algorand. Is this something to compete with something like XRP and XLM and XEC? I think this is something that the Chinese are developing for their own country, that they can get in and use XRP or use XEC or use XLM with this same banking system, right? If you even go to their homepage right here, it talks about right here, their enterprise network that they're building out, right? UDPN. It's just interesting how this is all kind of playing out, but understand that Bitcoin isn't going to be used for any of this, right? Because there's no KYC, there's no AML, right? Anti-money laundering and know your customer. You need to have those 2 things if you're going to want to have a bank use your currency or your projects or whatever it is to move that value, that digital asset. You have to have these things in place, and they don't have it. Let's keep going. China unveils Ripple's competitor for stablecoins and CBDC payments. Both networks can facilitate settle with XRP choose to. So this is what I was just talking to you about, right? This is this whole ecosystem that China is unveiling, right? The developers of UDPN describe it as equilibrium of SWIFT. Some of the major banks expected to participate in the pilot include HSBC, Standard Chartered, and Deutsche Bank. 2 of those, I don't know if Deutsche Bank is partnered with Ripple. I know Standard Chartered and I know HSBC is. The Chinese firm is developing a new payment system interoperable with stablecoins and CBDCs that acts as a link for central banks to transfer and swap regulated digital currencies. recently unveiled at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, dubbed the Universal Digital Payments Network, UDPN. It was developed by Red Date Technology, right? It's developed by Red Date Technology. Red Date Technology. Partners. Okay? So stop tripping, guys. Things are going to be okay. There's going to be a lot of payment networks that get developed. We're so lucky right now, man. If you're listening to this not 5 years from now, like tomorrow or the next day, you have so much good things in front of you that can happen if you just do the research and understand which technologies are going to be used by all of these banks. And XRP is one of those technologies. Anyways, guys, this is such a great clip. Hold on, I'm gonna play this last. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna play this last. All right, check this out, guys. Listen to this. This is David Schwartz, the man, the myth, the legend. Let's play that out.
We have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. Anyone who's made a payment knows that we're nowhere near that today. But imagine every financial institution settling with every other financial institution in seconds for less than a penny, any asset. That's fundamentally transformative. We have the technology to do it. Now we just need to figure out how to drive the adoption. And of course, there's all the challenges with there's incumbents, there's regulation, there's inertia.
Incumbents are the banks, guys. In this situation, incumbents are the banks. They do not want this technology. Why do you think Ripple was sued? Don't you think Jamie Dimon and Goldman Sachs were putting pressure on the SEC to bring a lawsuit to Ripple so they couldn't expand in the United States? Bank of America and Wells Fargo are all sitting and waiting for this lawsuit to be finished so they can start using the technology, right? It doesn't matter what the SEC thinks. The world understands XRP as a digital currency. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, if Ripple loses and it's all bad, they'd probably end up moving the company out of the United States and flourishing in the UK or the UAE. Does Brad and Chris and all those guys and David want to move their families across the seas? No, they need smart, quick rules of the road and guidance and quit around with these people. Excuse my French. All right, keep going.
No, there's big players who are really trying to defend. If you're one of the largest banks in the world, you want to push pause or stop on technology. Exactly. Because you're in the lead. So of course you say you love technology, but obviously you wish you could stop it. So
understand this. I think it's like Chase, HSBC, and Citi are responsible for 80% or 70 to 80% of global payments, right? Those three banks don't want anything to change. But as HSBC and Citi and JP Morgan, they understand that the technology is here to stay. And if they don't adopt the technology as quickly as their competitors do, they might not be around in 5 to 10 years. That is a true story, okay? This gets me all fired up in the day, all right? I do have one more clip and I'm gonna show it to you. It is where did I lose it? It's right here. Okay, so this is from the Brookings Institute, former governor of the Reserve Bank of India. The issue of settlement, if all this going to settle in bank accounts, regulations need to be set up in place. All right, English wasn't perfect on this thing. It wasn't me reading it wrong. I read it how it is, and it's a little bit messed up, but it's all good. 801 XRP brings fire information. Please go ahead and follow them. Let's play a little bit about this, and we'll move it.
Let's talk for a minute, and please, again, interrupt me, jump in with other thoughts. But
those fears, but
I want to. There we go. This is what I want to hear.
Over around those. So again,
Governor Patel, do you think that digital currency would make the problem of capital flight a bigger issue?
I think not if the digital currency is promoted or used by the central bank, but the current lot does bring that risk, I think, front on. Also embedded with the KYC and AML concerns. I think this is, given what has happened in the G20, etc., over the last 8-10 years, I think this is a wall that this particular sector will come. All it needs is...
This is Augusta Carlson. This is the head of the BIS. And this is also a bigwig too. I don't remember his name, but guys look like they're going to go to sleep. I just thought this was like a funny clip, but it is slow.
1 or 2 cases to come out. And I don't think that it is now acceptable to have this. The one other point I wanted to make is that there is the issue of settlement also.
Right.
That is ultimately all this going to be settled in a bank account.
Yeah.
And if it is going to be settled in a bank account, then nothing much changes from what we have today. And I think that all the standard setting, all the regulations will have to be put in place. And unless that is done, I don't see this thing growing beyond a point, because the settlement by banks is the is a very important part of the closure that both Mike talked about.
Governor Ingers, what do you
I think this whole clip is good, right? He is talking about these central banks and banks. We need regulation. There needs to be rules of the road so banks feel good enough to get in and start using the technology. Right now, they're not using the technology. They're adopting the technology. The technology is there, but they're not quite using it to its full capabilities yet because they don't want to be doing anything that the SEC might bring a suit or something like that. If the SEC is suing your boat for selling secondary securities on the open market, a bank starts using it to transfer money, could there be an issue there? I don't know. I am not an attorney, but banks really want to see rules of the road that are clear before they really jump in. Wells Fargo, Bank of America are two huge American banks that want to start using the technology. They're already signed up. They're already ready to go, and they want to start using the technology. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it through the whole video, please like and subscribe. If I know you must like me for a reason. If you need help understanding these utility assets, this is all I do. I don't really talk about DeFi projects. The last year, a little bit over a year, I've been just hammering the best utility projects on the market for my community at Kryptonaires, and they are all making money right now because the market has been on fire, especially the utility assets that we've been talking about. If you need help, Kryptonaires.com or DM me on Twitter. I'd love to help you. If there's some crazy person in the comments asking you for money, that's a scammer. I'll never ask you for money. I'll never ask you for anything other than your likes and subscribes. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Bye.